Hey, I am making the most amazing blueberry crumble bars. You definitely want this recipe. These are so delicious. They are packed with whole fruit, and that's what's the main sweetener in them. And they also have whole grains, and they're just a delicious way to satisfy a sweet tooth. And I would even eat these for breakfast, to be honest with you. And it starts by making a fresh blueberry jam. So normally blueberry crumble bars have a pre-made jam, which is super sugary. But when you make your own, it is so much better and so much more blueberry-ful. And that starts with a little bit of seasoning first. I'm gonna season the blueberry jam with a little bit of orange. So orange zest, I'm just gonna put into this pot. And I want about a half a teaspoon of the zest of the orange. Right away, the smell is just incredible. And it doesn't have to be an exact amount, just get that in there. And then a little bit of orange juice. So about a tablespoon of the orange juice. Again, it doesn't have to be exact. Just getting that into the pot. And then I'm gonna add about 1.5 cups of fresh blueberries. You could use frozen here too. You wouldn't need to thaw them. Just pop them in. But it's a really beautiful way to use fresh blueberries. And a little maple syrup. So most of this jam will be getting its sweetness naturally from the blueberries, which are inherently beautifully sweet. But a little bit of maple syrup, just 2 tablespoons, is just gonna really amp that up and make it kind of jammy. So I'm gonna heat that up and let it reduce until it's about 2/3 of a cup. So it takes about 20 minutes to come to a boil, and then all the berries will collapse and it will thicken and become super jammy, and then I will refrigerate it. Okay, so that beautiful blueberry jam bubbled away and is lovely and thick, about 3/4 of a cup of it. And then I just stuck it in the refrigerator to chill for about 20 minutes because you want it nice and cool to spread it onto the bars. So now I'm gonna make the base and the topping of the bars. And here's where lots of yummy, nutty goodness comes in, and also some whole grains. But starting with some walnuts, 1/2 cup of walnuts, and 1/2 cup of almonds. And I'm just gonna whir that up until it's like fine sand almost, all right? And you can use any nut you want, really. If you want to use all almonds, that would work great. You could do pecans in here. You can really mix it up to whatever nut you prefer. So I have almonds, walnuts, and then I'm going to add some sunflower seeds. And you could do pumpkin seeds. You could do more nuts. You can kind of play around here, but this is 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds. And I'm just going to kind of pulse. So these, I still get the texture of them, but they kind of integrate nicely in with the other nuts. So that's the main base. We're not gonna wash this yet because we're gonna use it again. You'll see. So I'm gonna put this into a large bowl here. And it's okay if this isn't totally clean. I'm gonna put this into a large bowl. And again, those nuts are giving you that healthy fat. It's giving you protein. It's giving you crunch, giving you tons of minerals. It's such good stuff. I'm gonna put more good stuff in here. Some oats, some whole grain, just rolled oats. 1/2 cup, no, actually 1 cup. 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour. So this is a whole grain situation over here. And when you get whole grains, you get slower release into your bloodstream. You get fiber, you get minerals, and a lovely kind of nutty flavor, which complements the nuts in there. Also, I'm gonna put in here a teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just gonna stir that up. And this is the base, not only for the base of the bars, because it's kind of like a sandwich bar, right? With the jam in between. it's the base of the bar, but it's also the topping. So I'm gonna mix this all up and then transfer a little bit of it, about a cup of it, into this bowl to make the topping, the crumble topping for the bars. So this is doing double duty. So I'm gonna put a cup of it in here, about a cup. And to make the topping, the crumble topping, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of oil, and just a pinch of salt. And then I'm going to stir that up, and it'll be nice and crumbly. Kind of almost like a granola type of topping. You can see it's really kind of clustering together. And when this bakes, the maple syrup will kind of sweeten everything and caramelize a bit. Okay, so the topping is ready. Now for the rest of the base, we're coming back to the food processor. So what's going to sweeten the base is fruit. And I wasn't kidding about, this bar being mostly sweetened with fruit. So here I'm just gonna add a mixture of dried dates and dried prunes into the food processor. And they're so naturally sweet. And they're sweet because they have sugar, but it's sugar that's also kind of in this beautiful matrix with fiber and minerals and antioxidants. So it's a much better way to sweeten to use whole fruit. To that, I'm going to add the remaining 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and an egg. Where's my egg? Right here. And also some oil. So a 1/4 cup of oil. And I like to use like an avocado oil, a neutral flavored oil. You could use like a light flavored olive oil if you want, just one that's not too deeply flavorful. But avocado oil is nice. You could use canola. And I'm just gonna whir that up until it's mostly smooth. Now it's never gonna get completely smooth, but I want it to be mostly smooth. It takes a second, so hang on. Okay, that's looking good. And then you just take this mixture and you put it in to that beautiful oat and nut base. And mix it all up. Now this is kind of sticky, right? Because it has all of the dried fruit and the egg, because that's going to hold the base together. Okay. So now I'm just going to work this together until it's all combined. And it's definitely going to be nice and thick. I think my spoon is going to be a better choice for this. Or maybe a little bit of both. Just working it in. And then what I'm going to do, once this is all worked in, is spread it into this parchment lined pan. And the parchment is going to make it really easy to get it out of the pan and cut it. So that's a helpful hint. Once it's all integrated like this, I am just going to put it into the pan, pop it in there. You want it to be nice and sticky like this. But because it's sticky, in order to spread it around the pan, I'm going to take some wax paper and put it on top. And then just makes it super easy to spread around. whenever you're working with anything sticky like this, if you're making kind of like Rice Krispie treats or anything like that, it's always good to have the wax paper trick up your sleeve. Okay, so just getting it in there all evenly. It feels so cool. All right. And then remove the wax paper. You have your beautiful base there. And then I'm going to put, I can use a spoon for that, the blueberry jam. So this is a blueberry jam that I cooled for about 20 minutes. And you see how nice and thick it is. Very jammy. And it's just really delicious to make with fresh blueberries. And it's, again, it's not super sweet. It's just gently, beautifully, fruitfully sweet. Just spread that around. And then last but not least, get it pretty evenly. And then last but definitely not least, that topping, that crumbly granola-y topping gets sprinkled on top to make like a deliciousness sandwich, basically. And then you just bake this at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes until the top is all browned and the bottom has kind of solidified and the jam has kind of caramelized in there. And I'm gonna bake this one, but first I have to show you what they look like, how they turn out, because I do have one that I already cooked and already cut, and they're so delicious. Oh my goodness. Look at them. I can't wait to dig in. I really hope you try it. Blueberry crumble bars, perfectly sweet, fruitfully sweet, healthy and delicious, a great way to satisfy a sweet tooth. Get the recipe on elliekrieger.com. Heaven.